Hey, what's up you guys? It's Lexi DIY and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, you guys, I'm forcing myself to pick a tile and go ahead and put the membrane down and install the tile. I need a washer and dryer. This project has been going on forever and I think I've made a decision. Tile that I'm choosing to go with for the floor is this.
First things first, we got to get this room clean, so I went ahead and vacuumed it. Now, if anybody knows of like a renovation vacuum that is push and actually has a brush roll, let me know because I feel like that's really missing in the market. And if you invent one, please, it was my idea. So anyway, that's why I use my normal vacuum, but I did use my renovation vacuum first to pick up any of like the big chunks or whatever. And then it was time to install my Schulter Ditro. This is an uncoupling membrane, and this is the first time I've ever used one. So, essentially, it gives the floor a little bit of give, and that way, if your floor settles, especially on a concrete subfloor like this, they're very prone to cracking. And when that cracks, you don't want your tile to crack on top of it. So this allows for a little bit of movement to happen under so that your tiles don't crack, which is great. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this stuff is pretty pricey, but the good thing is it was extremely easy to use. All I had to do was just use a normal pair of kitchen scissors. You can also use a utility blade to cut it. And once I had the template of everything actually cut out, then it was time to cut the tape. So this is also like a waterproofing system as well, and the tape just really goes on the seams to make sure that it's actually waterproof. That would be a lot more important in like a bathroom. I probably maybe could have skipped that step here, but I just chose not to. So I cut the tape before we started on anything. Then I just used a damp sponge and some warm water to go ahead and give that floor a second cleaning, just to make sure everything was really good to go before I actually started putting the thin set down.
Attempt to pick this up and get it in there. Wow. Okay. Oh, that was a lot. I know I'm gonna get this everywhere. The bag was already like leaking, so I just put it in here, and I'm just gonna rip it open and use a cup to get it into the bucket because I'm weak and Dustin's not home.
Well, you know, sometimes you just gotta get a little creative when you are not able to lift the things that you need to lift during your renovation. But where there's a will, there's a way. And was this the best method? No. It would have been a lot easier if Dustin was here when I was doing this, but I didn't want to wait, so I figured it out. Anyway, I learned so much about mixing your own thin set from this process, and this first time was really not it. Prior to this, for our primary bathroom renovation in our last house, we used pre-mixed thin set. Pre-mixed thin set is so expensive, and it's actually a lot harder to work with because it's like really, really thick, and I will never use it again. But I would be lying if I said that once I started doing this, it was easy right off the bat. My drill kept locking up. That was definitely my bad because I didn't have it on the proper setting. And that first little batch that you see I poured in the corner, it was way too thin. So I did go back and just add some more, cups of the powder to it and mixed that in. That definitely helped, and now you can kind of see it's keeping its ridges. So before, the ridges were kind of melting down into each other, and that is definitely not going to give us proper adhesion. So I had to make sure that I got the consistency correct. And then from there, all you do is you just put the pre-cut sheet of Schulter Ditro down, and you roll it with a little roller. I definitely didn't get it all the way flat, and I would probably spend a little bit more time rolling it out now that I've used it one time, but pretty simple to install. I'm using a trowel here that has notches in it, and that's how I'm making those ridges right there. So I ran out of thin set in the middle of this. Didn't mix enough, which wasn't, the best option. Also, something that I learned from doing this the first time was I'm laying it like horizontally in the room, I'm laying it vertically in the room right now, like from door to door. If I could go back, it would have been a lot easier because you see I'm like kind of backing myself into a little corner if I laid it horizontally across the room, like from wall to wall, where the washer and dryer previously were to the wall where the window is. That would have been a lot easier, but you live and you learn, and now I know for next time. So got that down, and the great thing is you can actually tile the exact same day that you put this down. Like, you don't have to wait 24 hours for that thin set to cure, because it kind of just all cures at the same time if you want to tile it the same day. And I am just rolling it out to make sure that it's flat, get any of that excess thin set out, make sure that it's actually like adhered to the bottom, and it has like a little felt side that it adheres to. And then I went and I did up against this wall. Now the great thing is, like, you can walk on it and everything right when you put it down. Again though, I do wish I would have spent a little bit more time rolling it, but not a big deal. Also, you don't really have to worry about if you get excess thin set on it. Obviously, you don't want a bunch of globs, but there are those little squares that you can see here, and they're kind of like little divots down, and that's what provides the like crack protection. It gives it a little bit of movement, and those can be actually filled with thin set. You're actually supposed to do that. So as long as you don't have like big globs everywhere, if you wanted to wait till the next day to tile, you could totally do that. I put some thin set down on the seam, and then I put my Schulter tape down. I probably should have put a little bit more, but you live and you learn. Then I was like, okay, well, that was pretty simple. Let's go ahead and start tiling. So I just used my snap and score system to snap some tiles in half, because I knew I was going to have a half cut against the wall, and I wanted those to be ready to go. And then I mixed up some more thin set. I used a bowl this time, you can see, instead of a cup, just so that I was getting everything in a little bit more quickly. Now, there is like so much I can talk about with mixing this thin set, you guys. I was having a lot of trouble. First of all, this paddle probably wasn't the best option on Thursday rather. You're gonna see me use one that looks more like a cake paddle, like that would go on the end of your like hand mixer, and that works a lot better, but my drill was also on the wrong thing. So my drill kept locking up, and I was like, is it too thick? Did I put too much powder? But it was really just because my drill wasn't on the proper setting. You really want to start it on the first setting and move up from there. And when your drill locks up, you got to go back down. That resulted in me mixing this soupy thin set for so long to get the powder actually not chunky in it. That's just gross words. But, and it took me like maybe an hour to do that, and it still came out this thin. So yes, I am scooping it back up with a kitchen ladle and a plastic cup, because I was like, I am not gonna get the proper adhesion with this. It was super frustrating, but stick with me because we figure it out, and that's what matters. I added a little bit more powder, and I, put the new mixture down as much as I could, and it was time to start tiling. There's still a lot more to go to get the right consistency, but I'm definitely going to show you guys the full process of actually tiling this entire room on Thursday. So make sure that you guys stick around, and I will see you guys then. Bye!